Good morning. Section 1015 will be an application section, which is like, you're trying to apply all of the rules that you have learned from section 1011 all the way to 1014. So think about it as a review for the whole, for everything that you have learned from the beginning of this chapter. I would recommend that you work on this whole worksheet on your own first. When you're done, try to go back and watch this video and figure out what did you do right and which one did you do incorrect, and learn from this video. First question: an 8-inch dinner knife is sitting on a circular plate so that its ends is on the edge of the plate. If the minor arc that is intercepted by the knife measures 120 degrees, so this arc here is 120 degrees. So I try to draw a circle here, and this side, which is that chord, represents the knife that's on the circle. This arc is 120 degrees. You want to find the length of the diameter of the plate. So if this is the only information is given to us, really is that this arc is equal to 120. So I'll try to build a circle out of this information. So here we go. I'll try to build eventually a triangle. So with that, I have a triangle. This is the center of the circle. So this will be a radius, and this will be a radius. And this side would be your chord, which is which is 8 inches. And you want to find, eventually, in that case, you want to find the diameter of the circle. If I found the radius, then I can multiply by 2 to find the diameter of the whole circle. Now, this angle that makes, with the two rays that makes this angle, this angle will be 120 because it's a central angle and it connects, or it's like kind of connected to that intercepted arc. So if this is 120, this is 120. I'll pull this triangle out. I know that this is 120. Both of them are sides. Both sides are radius, and this side is 8. From there, I want to find this side. So I'll name maybe this side as an X. And I'll take this triangle and I'll try to, I'll take this triangle and I'll try to say that you have a triangle with the triangle angle sum theorem. 180 minus 120 will give you 60. This 60 will be the sum of those two angles. Because it's an isosceles triangle, you can divide by 2 and it will give you 30 degrees. So this angle is 30 and this angle is 30. Now, using all of the information that you have, you can figure out side X, or the radius of the circle, by either trying to do the law of sines, or you can divide that triangle into 2 equal halves and you can apply SOHCAHTOA. But I find it easier to apply the law of sines. With the law of sines, again, if you recall, it was sine of A over its corresponding side equals sine of B over its corresponding side. So I'll have sine, if I want to write an equation, it would be sine of 120 over its corresponding side, which is, it's linked to 8, so over 8 equal sine of 30 over X. So because the 30 correspond to that X. From there, I can do my cross and multiply. So X times sine of 120 equal to 8 times sine of 30, dividing by sine of 120 on both sides. So X is equal to 8 times sine of 30 over sine of 120. And that will give me approximately 4.618. Since I found my radius is equal, since the radius is equal to 4.618, the diameter would be double of that radius, which is approximately 9.237. So my diameter of this circle is equal to 9.237. Question number 2, you have a block of cheese that has a diameter of 6 inches. And it's 2 inches thick. So 2 inches thick, that will represent your height of that block of cheese. After a party, only a sector remains that has a central angle of 45 degrees as shown in that diagram. And the diameter is 6, so which will make that radius is equal to 3. You want to find the volume of that cheese that remains. So the volume, it looks like a prism because it has 2 congruent parallel sides two congruent parallel sides. So if I succeed to find the area of that base, which is part of a sector of a whole circle, you can multiply it by the height of 2 to find the volume of that block of cheese, or if you think about it, it's kind of a prism. So the area of the base, recall that this is part of a circle, so it would be 45 over the 360 times pi r squared, which is r is equal to 3. Simplifying this one further, it would be 3.534 inches squared. I found the area of the base. Now I'm ready to do my volume, which is the area of the base times the height. So I'll take the 3.534 multiplied by the height of the block of the cheese, which is equal to 7.068 inches cubed. So the volume of that cheese is equal to 7.068 inches cubed. Following question in circle O, use the given information to find the values of x, y, and z. Now, the only information that's given to us in this triangle, that arc JE is equal to 100. Angle X is a central angle because the vertex is on the circle itself, and a central angle is equal to the intercepted arc, which is 100 degrees. Angle Y and angle Z, both of them share the same intercepted arc, so you would know right away both of them would be equal to each other. Again, both of them are sharing the same intercepted arc, which is 100, but the inscribed angle is equal half of the intercepted arc, so it's equal to 50 degrees. So angle Y and Z is equal to 50, however, angle X is equal to 100 degrees. Question number 4. In the figure at right, O is the center of the circle. TX and TB are tangent to that circle. They gave you also that angle BOX is equal to 120 degrees. So let me put that this is 120. Recall that this is a tangent. They confirmed that this is a tangent, and a tangent with a radius of a circle will make a 90-degree angle. And also TX is a tangent to that circle, so OX and TX will make a 90-degree angle. Now you want to find the measure of angle BTX, which is this angle that's here. This angle, you have 3 out of the 4 angles in that quadrilateral given to us. Let's figure out the measure of all of the interior angles. So the sum of all of the interior angles in that quadrilateral, which is equal to 180 times n minus 2, if you recall that rule. So 180 times 4 minus 2, that's equal to 360. So I know the sum of all of the interior angles in that quadrilateral is equal to 360. And I have one missing angle out of the 4 angles. So angle T will equal to 360 minus 120 minus 90 minus 90. And that's all equal to 60 degrees. So this angle that's missing is equal to 60 degrees. In that circle at right, DV is equal to 9. So I'll put the information on my figure. As V is equal to 12, AV is equal to 4. And you want to find IV, so I'll name it X. I'll connect the 2 points DA with a segment. I'll also connect the 2 points SI into a segment. And I would like you to recall that angle S and angle D would be equal to each other because they share the same intercepted arc, IA. Not only those 2 angles are equal, also angle I and angle A are equal to each other because they share the same intercepted arc, SD. Finally, those 2 angles, those 2 vertical angles are equal to each other because like their vertical angles and vertical angles are congruent to each other. Now I can set a proportion. The 2 triangles are similar, so you can set a proportion. The 12 from the first triangle SVI correspond to, it's between the pink and black, so it will correspond to 9. That's equal to x over the x is between the black and the green, so it will correspond to 4. From there, I can do my cross and multiply. And I'll have 12 times 4 equal to 9x. 12 times 4 is 48, equal to 9x, dividing by 9 on both sides, so x is equal to approximately 5.3 repeating. Question number 6. In the figure at right, the measure of arc SD is equal to 92. The measure of arc DA is equal to 103. The measure of arc AI is equal to 41. And they're also talked about that SW, which is this line segment, it's a line, is tangent to the circle O. Find the measure of AKD and VAS. So you want to find the measure of two angles, AKD, so this angle that's here. And so I'll work on this angle first of all. So what I see here, it's not an inscribed angle and it's not a central angle as well. And I know that this is just an angle that's inside the circle. So it's not considered an inscribed angle and it's not considered a central angle. So my only option is to look at this triangle and figure out any other angles I can find from this triangle. If I succeed to find this angle, and I succeed to find this angle as well, then I'll be able to find the measure of the third angle, because all of the angles in any triangle, the sum of all angles in any triangle add up to 180 degrees. Now, angle AIDA correspond to arc IA. So if this is 41, then this angle, which is IAD, this should be 20.5. So here's one angle out of the three angles. Let's look at the second angle, which is angle SAD. So this angle here correspond to arc SD. So if arc SD is equal to 92, then you will have arc this angle SAD will equal to half of the 92, which is 46. Now you have two angles in one triangle, and you can find the third angle, which is you can find the measure of angle AKD, which is equal to 180 minus 20.5 minus the 46. And that's all equal to 113.5. Now I'll move into finding the second angle, which is angle VAS. So VAS, and I'll have to draw this angle. So I want to find this angle here, VAS. This angle, the vertex is on the circle itself, so it's considered an inscribed angle. So if I succeed to find this whole arc, I'll find eventually I'll be able to find that inscribed angle. Now I have one part of that arc, which is IA, and that's equal to 41. Now I'm left to find arc IS. All around the circle is 360 degrees. So the measure of arc IS is equal to 360 minus 92 minus 103 minus 41. And that's equal to 124. So this arc is equal to 124. Now that will give me the information about arc SA. So the measure of arc AS or SA is equal to 124 plus the 60 plus the 41, which is equal to 165. Now I can find the measure of angle VAS, because the measure of angle VAS does correspond to arc AS. So it'd be half of that arc, which is half of 165, and that's equal to 82.5. The last question is testing all of the terms that you have. So please check all of these answers to check all of your terms. And then that's it for today's lesson. Tomorrow, you will have 10.1. You're not going to have a video, but eventually you will have a review worksheet to review all of the concepts that you have from section 10.1.1 all the way to 10.1.4. So I will conclude today and finish today's lesson, and have a great day. Bye.